Well, this dictator just a few weeks ago was lobbing missiles into the Sea of Japan. There's been no progress on any major issue. We have a young kid who was killed when he was taken into custody by the North Koreans.
Otto Warmbier.
And he was, Otto was, shipped back to the United States and died just a few days later. And you reward that behavior with a visit from the President of the United States with absolutely no progress, no commitment, no initiative to speak of here. I just think it sends the wrong message, and I think it emboldens this dictator to think he can do whatever he wants and then get a visit from the President of the United States. That's not the way we should be doing business.
And Congressman, you bring up progress. I used to live on the North Coast. I lived almost 9 really terrific years in Cleveland, Ohio. I know it's not quite Youngstown, but I'm familiar with your neck of the woods. And it broke my heart when they closed the Lordstown plant. They used to build, I think it was the Cavalier, and then the different cars have come out of that plant. But progress is being made, some would say, on the trade front. And there are Democrats who support what the president is doing with China. I imagine you do not. So what would you specifically do?
Well, I think the president has identified that China is a real problem. And I believe that we have to do something. And I think tariffs can be a part of a strategy. But the problem I have is that it's just a tactical move. What's the larger strategy that's going to help us with our relationship with China? What are we doing to help us compete with China? And the answer is nothing. It's the tariffs are on, the tariffs are off, the tariffs are on, the tariffs are off. He's backing off on Huawei, which I think is a real national security issue. What's the plan for us to win the 5G battle? What's the plan for us to win the 6G battle? What's the plan for us to dominate the electric vehicle market, which China dominates about 40 to 50% now? What's the plan for us to dominate the solar panel market, which China dominates about 60% now? They're cleaning our clock right now, and we have no plan. And this is what I'm saying about the president. He's so distracted, and I think he's more concerned getting on TV and dominating the news cycle than he is having a long-term plan. And to me, that's the biggest issue in facing the country right now, is that China has a 10-year plan, a 30-year plan, a 50-year plan, a 100-year plan, and our president is operating in a 24-hour news cycle.
Congressman, this is Steve Roth. Huawei is a pretty crummy business. We've avoided those kinds of companies, Ericsson, Nokia, some of the competitors. It seems like the American tech companies are the ones that are winning the game, broadly speaking. I don't know why you're so worried about Huawei from a competitor standpoint. I mean, I get the security concerns, but the president's addressing those. What is it about the Chinese technological era that's worrying you?
Well, as I just said, I mean, they're dominating the 5G market. They're dominating electric vehicle market. They're dominating the solar panel market. And I think we have disinvested in the future, whether it's our education system, whether it's our healthcare system, whether it's research and development, and really going from low to high gear in some of these things to make it happen. And it's going to take. Here's the problem. Okay, if you want to figure out the fundamental problem, is we've got a debate in America that's either all government or no government. And the reality of it is we better find that sweet spot again where we deal with public-private partnerships, where the government has a responsibility to do certain things around education and research and infrastructure, and we work with the private sector companies to make sure that they're kind of pointed in a direction where we can help each other dominate these industries. Because if we can get and win the electric vehicles and solar, we can bring some semblance of manufacturing back to the United States, cut workers in on the deal. And when you have a plant like I have in Lordstown, Ohio, that lost 16,000 jobs in the last couple of decades, let's start making something else and making sure workers are cut in on the deal. And that's how you beat China. That's how you outcompete them.
Congressman, the stock market just hit a record high today. What do you think? What does the message send? What does the message of that send to you? What do you think it says about the Trump economy?
Well, to me, where I come from, it says that there are certain people in the economy today that are doing really well, but the 75% of the American people are still living paycheck to paycheck. I just don't think that these metrics today of unemployment and stock market are reflective of the vast majority of people in the United States. And I hate to say that. I take no joy in that. But the reality of it is people are squeezed. Millennials will squeeze. There's an affordable housing crisis in the country. There's a healthcare crisis in the country. There's a student loan crisis in the country. And it's affecting the vast majority of people. So I think the president really is digging his own grave when he goes around saying how great the economy is going, because it just, when you talk to average people, it's not going well for them. And we've got to fix the wage issue here in the United States. People have jobs. They just don't have the wages that they used to have.
Representative Tim Ryan from Ohio, we appreciate your being here on The Move and making time for us today. All the best to you, sir.